A house fire ended in tragedy after a man was found dead. What officials are saying about the cause so far this morning?
And a man shot by a San Antonio police officer after being in hot water with the law 3 years ago this morning. The latest on what led to his arrest this time.
And a tentative trial date is now set for the Olmos Park man accused in his wife's murder. We're going to tell you when the case will go to court and what to expect moving forward.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Okay, Jaffney's back. Justin's out today.
Yes.
Enjoying a day off.
No, definitely. I tell you, it was a beautiful weekend. And then I said earlier, the highlight of it was the Texas East Food Festival and meeting so many of you out there. It was a blast. Specifically, I want to give a shout out to Miss Helen. But again, being inside was ideal for that event.
With the air conditioning. And hey, guys, I love being with y'all this morning.
Yes.
So my baby usually wakes up around this time. And so I start my day with you guys. So it's nice to be able to be here physically, and I'm excited because we get to talk about a cool front this week.
Ooh,
we're all
good
excited.
News.
Yes.
Good news right there.
All right, well,
let's
talk away, Sarah Spivey.
Yeah, so right now it is warm, okay? It's 80 degrees outside in San Antonio, but guess what? We're going to be even hotter this afternoon. We're going to be at 97, feeling like 102. In fact, here's a look at what it's going to feel like in your neighborhood. New Braunfels, good morning. It's going to feel like 103 today. Sorry about that. Uvalde, 100, 104 in Carrizo Springs, 104 in Pleasanton. This is the hot before the cool front, and that cool front is going to arrive tomorrow afternoon. Now, it is going to bring with it the potential for some storms, about 1 to 2 inches of rain for a few folks. That would be the exception rather than the rule. So coming up, I'm going to walk you through when rain is most likely tomorrow, and we'll talk about the big changes that are happening with this front. Again, it's a weak front, so the way you're going to notice the weather changing is mainly in the form of lower humidity and cooler mornings, especially by the weekend. There's a lot to talk about in the forecast. I'll have those details for you in just a few minutes. For now, though, let's go ahead and check in with the roads. RJ, what's going on, man?
All right. Thank you very much, Sarah, and glad to have Sarah with us as Justin takes a much-deserved day off here. We're going to start things out here on the east side of town. Good morning to all of our folks right here. 410 at Houston Street. Starting to see a little bit of backup here. I believe this is construction related because right now TxDOT is not reporting any particular incidents on this stretch of 410 North headed towards East Houston. But you see that flyover ramp right there. That is an option for all of our drivers coming in from the east side of town, East Bexar County. That'll take you from 10 over to 410. So again, ongoing construction in the east side of town. We know that's just generally the story across many parts of the San Antonio areas. We give you a look here at our map and we will move on from that. Let's take you back to the downtown area. Traffic starting to build right here. 35 North headed into the downtown area from parts of 90 and 10 over by Burbank High School. And we do expect some more folks on the roads here in just a little bit as we get the kids up for school and ready to go. Let's give you an update on the northeast side right now because we've seen a couple different things, not only construction further up by Live Oak and Universal City. Good morning to all of our folks there, but 35 South right now seeing a pretty significant backup from Thousand Oaks all the way to Topper Wine. Expect about a 15-20 minute delay if you are headed out on this stretch of 35 on the northeast side. But let's check in with Alex Gomez right now, who has been cruising around the northeast side and unfortunately stuck behind some brake lights there. Alex, what can you tell us?
RJ, good morning and happy Tuesday. Yeah, getting ready for some slowing over here on the northeast side. I-35 southbound, I'm barely passing O'Connor Road, and just to get here from Topperwine has already taken me 20 minutes. So again, be prepared for I-35 south. The northbound lanes, not seeing this at all. I-35 north is still moving pretty well, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much for that update, Alex. So a 20-minute delay for our folks on the northeast side. And coming up in just a bit, we're going to give you a look at your gas prices across the San Antonio area. Guys, back to you.
So 3 right now. Let's get to a deadly house fire on the north side.
So last night, fire crews were called out to, they were called out to a home on Chartwell Drive, and you can see what they arrived to. This is what it looks like on the map on the near north side. Our Devin Karp has been there this morning, and he's joining us live now with an update on what he's been able to find out so far. Devin.
Yeah, good morning, guys. There is still the smell of smoke in the air over here. You can see the sooty, ashy footprints over here on the ground. And if you check the driveway, you can still see the car of the man who died is still here as the caution tape is up and the black charring is around the garage. At first, fire officials thought that a man inside had barricaded himself in, but we were unable to get that confirmed on scene last night. We know that the fire call came in at about 7:30 and a lot of neighbors were concerned about not only what was happening in this house, but what could happen to some of the other houses on this street if it was able to jump around. Firefighters had tried to work to get the man inside of this house out of the fire. They say that they were able to get some of the pets out, but later firefighters confirmed that he was found dead after the flames were officially put out.
Whenever we responded, there was light smoke showing. We had the police department show up here and make sure that everybody was safe enough that we could go take care of the problem. We had one occupant. Family members let us know that there was 1 and 3 dogs. We were very fortunate. The police were able to get the 3 dogs out of the back. We had one person who's inside who is deceased.
We showed up, and at that point we tried to make contact with him. We were unsuccessful, and then we ended up with the fire that had fully engulfed the house.
One firefighter was treated for heat exhaustion. The fire caused heavy damage to this home, and a neighboring house also suffered some minor damage as well. Investigators are still figuring out the official cause of the fire, but they believe it originated from the garage. And if you're able to see it over my shoulder behind me here, you can see that's where a lot of the black charring is, especially compared to the rest of the house. So it seems like that could be a solid option, but again, we're still waiting from official word from the fire department. We're going to catch up with some of the neighbors on the street today, see what else we can hear from people who live in the community. But for now, I'll send it back to y'all. Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you so much, Devin. Well, scars are still visible 6 months after the Duke Road fire that you see right here. This morning, dozens of people still without a place to live, and they say that help has been hard to come by. Now, this is what the damage looked like south of 1604. It was a fire that burned 40 structures to the ground in early March along the Bexar County and Atascosa County line. And we learned yesterday that the state did file for federal assistance, but only to help put out the fires, which was granted. A spokesperson with the Texas Division of Emergency Management says, though, there were not sufficient estimated damages to meet the FEMA's requirements for individual assistance. And that news came as a shock to neighbors who lost everything.
How hard have the last 6 months been on you?
Very hard. Very hard.
Where do you find hope, strength?
Man upstairs.
Yeah, there is still hope, though. Families impacted by the Duke Road fire can still fill out a damage assessment online to help get that help from the state. We have the link on our website at ksat.com.
This morning, a former Bexar County District 2 deputy constable is now sentenced to 24 months probation after pleading no contest to official oppression. Investigators say in January of last year, Maximiliano Marquez pulled over a woman with a Cuban passport but never alerted dispatch or turned on his body camera as required. During that stop, he touched the woman inappropriately inside her car. She never received a ticket, but later got harassing text messages about the incident. Marquez has lost his peace officer license and can never serve in law enforcement again.
A man shot by San Antonio police officer 3 years ago is back in jail. Officers arrested Eric Cantu Friday on an assault charge. An affidavit says that this stems from an incident about a year ago at a gas station near Roosevelt and 410. Witnesses told police that Cantu pulled a woman out of a car by her hair, then punched, kicked, and stomped on her head before leaving. The victim said that she screamed as he shook her, and he told her to be quiet before hitting her. Investigators said that the car was traced to Cantu, and the victim later identified him in a photo lineup. Now, for a history for you, Cantu was that teenager when he was shot in a McDonald's parking lot by former San Antonio police officer James Brennan, and this happened in 2022. Brennan saw Cantu's car and thought that it was a car that got away from him the day before, so he opened Cantu's door. Cantu tried to drive off, and that's when Brennan fired a gun. Cantu was on life support and hospitalized for nearly 2 months. Brennan faces trial next month for aggravated assault by a public servant, and if convicted, he could get life in prison.
6:08 right now. Let's give you a look here at some of your morning headlines. President Donald Trump is back at the UN today, set to deliver a wide-ranging address. He's expected to criticize what he calls globalist institutions while highlighting his foreign policy record, including cuts to foreign aid. The visit comes as France and several allies formally recognize a Palestinian state, a move the U.S. and Israel have opposed. We expect that address to be aired during a special report later on this morning, coming up just before 9 a.m. on KSAT.com and also on KSAT 12. And speaking of programming, late night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel is returning tonight. ABC says that his show will be back on the air after a brief suspension over comments that he made about the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Now, those remarks, of course, drew some backlash and some major affiliates pulled the program. Kimmel has voiced concern about what he calls government pressure on comedians. The show will return to KSAT again tonight at 10:35 after the KSAT 12 night beat.
Alrighty, I'm excited because guess what? We are going to be looking at some cool mornings in San Antonio for the first time this season. Mornings are going to be in the 60s for many of us. I'll have a look at how cool we'll go, plus rain chances in just a few minutes.
6:09 right now, just ahead. We got a first look at Michael Strahan speaking one-on-one with Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, as he opens up about his shocking bladder cancer diagnosis and the moment that he learned the news.
And cooking at home can be healthy, but it can also land you in a hospital. Our Devin Karp shows us some easy ways to keep food safe during Food Safety Month and how to avoid some common mistakes in the kitchen.
6:13 right now. This morning, a commander with the San Antonio Park Police Department is now placed on administrative leave. He's accused of hitting a car with 4 people inside and leaving the scene. Police say the Lieutenant Timothy Packard was driving a city vehicle near Walsham Road and Loop 410 when the collision happened. A relative of one of the passengers told KSAT that it looked like Packard was in some kind of rush. Packard told investigators he didn't realize he hit another car. It's not clear if he was on duty at the time, and he faces no criminal charges at this point.
All right, well, cooking at home can be a great way to save some time and money, but it can also lead to some nasty stomach aches and even hospitalization if you get sick.
Yeah, San Antonio Metro Health says that 1 in 6 Americans get foodborne illnesses every year. And our Devin Carr breaking it all down with you with some ways that you can keep that from happening during Food Safety Month.
Good morning, guys. Even though we've all got a favorite restaurant around San Antonio, there's nothing just like making a meal at home. And even though we might not be cooking for a big family here in our work kitchen, it's still important that you treat any kitchen like a professional one. Metro Health says that even though they get a lot of calls from people in San Antonio who get food poisoning and say it's from restaurants, one of the usual culprits can be food from the home. Some of the best ways to double check you or someone you love won't get sick is to start off clean. That includes workspace and your utensils. Having a food thermometer at home can be a lifesaver instead of guessing game with different meat temperatures. Make sure to defrost and store food correctly, like chicken, beef, or pork. Don't let it too close to other different types of food, and don't underdo it on the stove if you can avoid it. Why is it better to be proactive than reactive?
Because reactive, you might actually be in the hospital or at the doctor's office. So you always want to keep things clean ahead of time, things separated, and it prevents a lot of foodborne illnesses or things that can get you sick.
San Antonio Metro Health says you can always call to check in with their team about proper procedures, and that if you think something's really risky, you can always cook something else. Lastly, one of the big things is not all food is created or stored equally. If you're putting leftovers in the fridge, make sure that it's at least 41 degrees inside. I think we're doing pretty good for ours. Don't forget to label anything with a sticky note, a Sharpie like this one, to say when you actually made that food, just in case you've got any little ones who will grab anything they see in the fridge. For now, I'm Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
Good tips right there, Devin. I know there's some things in my fridge that have been in there for like 3 or 4 weeks. And sometimes you're like, I can risk it. Don't do that.
Way in the back.
Don't do that.
That's the old stuff.
All right, let's get out to the roadways with our...
All right, guys. Yes, if you're planning to head out, maybe pick up some breakfast or some tacos, some coffee. Traffic is looking pretty good right now across many parts of the city of San Antonio. We cleared out that debris right there, 35 north at Cesar Chavez. Another shot there downtown, Frio Street, and a bird's eye view of the 37 corridor right here at the Alamo Dome Tower. And you see the Gonzalez Convention Center off there in the distance. Traffic is looking pretty good on 37 right now. A couple of smaller things to let you know about here real quick. 281, this is going to be southbound right there, Divine Road. Basically the Olmos Park area, over by the quarry area as well. It looks like traffic's starting to move along after a stalled vehicle. I saw them kind of adjust the TransGuide traffic camera over the past couple of minutes, so that is an indication that things are much better there. We do have an incident that's not on one of our major highways. That's going to be Nacogdoches Road, a very important road for all our folks that are going to make their way over to MacArthur High School, northeast side, but still seeing some backups right here. This is going to be 35, some about 15-20 minute delay right now. Thousand Oaks all the way up to Topper Wine. We'll check in with Alex and see if he can give us an update from the situation out there. But wanted to update this because I check these every morning and I noticed that we saw a pretty good jump right here in gas prices across the city of San Antonio. $2.81 right now. That's up 9 cents from just yesterday and higher than the statewide average, and of course a little bit lower, obviously lower than the national average, which is usually the case. But quick reminder, just again, if you are going to fill up, earlier in the week is always better, and in the later parts of the night and the earlier parts of the morning. So you may still find some gas prices that are a little bit closer to $2.70 if you are going to fill up earlier or later on this morning. Okay, let's check in with Alex Gomez right now and see how things are looking in Drive Cam on the ground. Alex, how are we looking on this Tuesday morning?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. Well, it took me 40 minutes to get through the northeast side. 35 southbound just to get to Thousand Oaks from Topper Wine. Again, a 40-minute delay right there. All the barrels are out, so it only goes down to one lane. And it's weird because there's no workers, there's no equipment on the lanes. They just haven't picked up the barrels for some reason. So that's what you're looking at, 35 southbound on the northeast side. But again, the northbound lanes, not seeing that. The northbound lanes still moving pretty fast, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much for that update, Alex, and expecting significant delays out there in the northeast side on 35. All right, Sarah, how are we looking outside? You could see from Alex's shot there, it just looks thick out there with the humidity.
Yeah, so humid out there, RJ. Temperatures are already in the 80s around San Antonio. It's also 80 degrees in Del Rio. Bernie, good morning. You're waking up at 75 and it is completely humid. Relative humidity in Bernie at 100% right now. As we take a look at your KSAT 12-hour forecast, mostly cloudy right now, but very quickly we're going to turn sunny. In fact, it's going to be mostly sunny by noon. It'll be near 90 degrees. And as we look ahead to the afternoon, 97. So feeling like 101, 102 around San Antonio. Seguin, you're going to feel like 103 today, feeling like 104 in Nixon, Smiley, and feeling like 101 in Hondo, Sabinal, and Uvalde. It is hot today, but relief is on the way. Wednesday, a cool front's going to move through. Now, this front will be weak, okay? We're not going to see a huge dramatic drop in temperatures. Highs are going to drop from the 90s to the 80s, morning lows from the 70s to the 60s. But the area that you're going to really feel the difference is in the humidity. It is so humid outside. It's a tropical humidity, very sticky out there. But when this front moves through, by Thursday, dew points are going to be lower and it's going to be pleasantly dry outside. Now take a look at temperatures. It's already 62 in Amarillo, already in the 40s in parts of the Rockies. That's where that front is right now. And that front is going to be producing some storms across North Texas today. That's where we see the risk for severe weather, gusty winds, hail, and even some tornado risk out across parts of eastern Oklahoma. Let me walk you through the futurecast here because we do not expect rain from this front until tomorrow afternoon. So we've got a long time to wait for the rain. Again, tomorrow afternoon from about 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Notice a few folks will still miss out on the rain. The chance is about 60%. And then by Thursday morning, that rain chance will be out of here. Take a look at your 7-day forecast. Again, tomorrow afternoon, by Thursday morning, the skies will be clearing. With those storms tomorrow, there is the potential for some hail with some of the stronger storms, but that would be the exception rather than the rule. And we're going to talk about that more in depth coming up in the next half hour. So I hope you'll stick around. What I'm really excited about, though, in this forecast are those morning lows. Take a look at that. It is going to be crisp and cool by Friday morning, Saturday morning. We have that Head for the Cure 5K. It's going to feel amazing out there around sunrise. Maybe some PRs for some folks because of the cooler temperatures. And even though it's still going to be warm, highs in the 80s, low humidity. That's the key, guys.
Excellent. Very good.
Sarah.
Okay, 621, 80 degrees outside right now.
Coming up, we got an emotional interview coming from Deion Coach Prime Sanders, revealing the startling cancer diagnosis that changed his life.
Look nice. You always look nice.
In this morning's GMA First Look, an ABC News exclusive. Michael Strahan one-on-one with Coach Prime.
And how did you feel when you walked in that day? Did you have any symptoms of anything?
This past spring, two-time Super Bowl champion and head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders, was unexpectedly diagnosed with an aggressive form of bladder cancer during a routine CAT scan for his blood clotting issues.
So did they tell you that day, or did some time pass when they called you back?
No, they told me they found something and they need to bring me back to do like a surgery to make sure this was what it was.
Did you think it was cancer? Is that what they told you?
Yeah, no, they didn't think, they knew.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have much more of Michael Strahan's exclusive interview with Deion Sanders.
There you go. 625 right now, 80 degrees outside.
A fire destroyed part of a duplex near Converse overnight. We'll get an update on the families who were inside when this fire started.
And our very own photojournalist Alex Gomez is at the scene of some kind of fire. We're going to check in with him to see exactly what's going on, coming up in about a couple minutes.
.629 right now, and we have some breaking news when it comes to your morning commute. We had a pretty significant incident right here. This is going to be 35 right here at 37, going up to 281. And earlier, it looked like we had a car fully engulfed in flames. It appears as we have a couple of fire units here from the San Antonio Fire Department. So again, this is going to be kind of north of the downtown area on the east side, again, headed towards the Pearl area. So let's go ahead and check in with Alex Gomez right now, because during the break, we saw a shot where Alex, it looked like we had some significant flames coming from a potential vehicle there. So if we have Alex, let's go to him right now in drive cam and see what exactly the situation out there. Alex, looks like you're back on the go here, but what was the very latest out there at 35 at 281?
Yeah, I had to get moving again because traffic was starting to increase in that area. But 281 northbound, that right lane's going to be blocked. When I first arrived to that scene, that fire was still ongoing on that vehicle. And not too far away from it, I saw what looked to be the occupants of that car. They seemed to be calm. They were just waiting for firefighters, and they looked to be all right. So it was just that car that was burning right there. But again, you're going to have slowing in the downtown area if you're going up 281 north, right next to the Pearl, because that right lane's going to be blocked, RJ.
Thank you very much, Alex. And fortunately, it appears as if everyone's okay and they got that fire out quick, because guys back here at the desk in the studio, that looked pretty scary when we saw some of that during the break. So Alex, thankfully, he's okay as well.
That was quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quick work.
Yeah, that was quick work by fire department officials, and it looks like it might cause some delays there for our drivers going up 35 to 281.
Okay. Coming up on 6:30 right now, I'll tell you, when you open the door today, the humidity hits you in the face.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about in the forecast. The first thing, though, is I want to get you through your day because it is humid out there. As you're dropping the kids off, 77 degrees, very humid. This afternoon, it's going to be 97. About 10 degrees above average, and it's going to feel like it's 102. So definitely a hot one today. I want to give an update on Hurricane Gabrielle because it is a major Category 4 hurricane. And thank goodness it has moved east of Bermuda, not really impacting Bermuda in a major way. But interestingly, Gabrielle is expected to impact areas of Spain as a tropical storm. So traversing all of the Atlantic out there to Europe. Meanwhile, there's two waves that have a decent chance of developing and getting a name. We'll keep you posted on those. But the biggest story for San Antonio is not necessarily how hot it's going to be today, but that we expect our first cool front of the season to arrive tomorrow. It's going to drop our morning lows into the 60s. You'll notice, again, not a huge dip in temperatures. Highs will still be in the 80s, but those morning lows are going to feel great. And even with highs near 90 degrees, it's going to feel good with low humidity. Plus, that cool front tomorrow is going to bring a chance for some storms. We'll talk about the risk for those storms and how much of our area should expect to see rain in just a bit, guys.
All right, Sarah, thank you. 6:32 now. A fire destroyed part of a duplex near Converse overnight. Crews responded to the fire on Forest Ridge just before midnight. They told us that flames were through the roof when the crews arrived. Both families made it out safely, but will be displaced, and damage to the home, as you can see there, was pretty severe. Now, no injuries were reported, though one firefighter was checked out by EMS. Investigators are still looking into the cause.
It is. It's about networking and great neighbors. You know, we got a really strong community. Texas is strong. We always have been. We're a very self-sufficient people.
More financial help is coming. That is the message an Ingram flood victim is telling other victims.
Our Patty Santos continues her efforts to highlight the heroes, survivors, and the helpers of the Hill Country floods. Good morning, Patty.
Hey there. Good morning, guys. Well, let me tell you about Darren Potter. He's an Ingram property owner, an artist, and a neighbor with a phone. He's using it to network and to help flood victims until the millions of dollars that were promised arrive.
These blocks were all washed up against that fence.
Darren Potter learned early on that money to help flood survivors like himself would not arrive fast or easy.
You have people that are renting from you. Did they have items that were damaged? What did you find out about what kind of help was available to them?
Because I went to FEMA, and even though I had 5 houses with water, I wasn't qualified for anything because they only cover your primary residence. And then the other end of the coin would be like, oh, well, you don't own it, you're not qualified for anything. That's the other side of FEMA. So I told them it's almost like an insurance policy where they're trying to find some little thing to where they don't have to pay out.
Potter says just filling out the FEMA paperwork was an Easter egg hunt.
Some of these people literally washed out of their house with no shoes, no phone, their car's gone, their house is gone, their paperwork's gone, and they're standing there in their night clothes and having to start over. And then the government's saying, oh, we need all these forms and all this stuff. And they're like, I don't even have my phone. I don't have anything. I don't own one thing. You know, I'm standing here in borrowed shoes.
So he used his contacts and Facebook followers to start networking and connecting the dots for victims who need financial help now.
I'm not an organization. I'm an artist with a phone.
For some, it's been finding them tools, getting them temporary homes, or simply giving them a list of churches and agencies, handing out money.
I'm just trying to put a Band-Aid on until the cavalry can get there.
He was told by the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country that the real relief is near.
The reality of it is, yes, we have a lot of money in this county in donations. It is all still here. It's all locked up, and people that I trust are dispersing it.
And Darren wants to make it clear that he's not asking for money from anyone. He is connecting the dots for people he knows in his own community. You can head to KSAT.com right now and type in Hill Country to read more of our coverage of the flood aftermath. Ernie?
Patty, thank you for that. The San Antonio water system is stepping up efforts to collect unpaid bills by placing its first ever municipal utility lien on an apartment complex. The Oaks on Bandera Apartments on the northwest side owes more than $93,000 for water and sewer services. SAW says it has the authority to shut off water due to the unpaid debt, which also violates the city's apartment inspection program. The lien, approved by the city council earlier this year, is designed to pressure landlords to pay so that tenants are not left without service. Currently, SAWS tracks over 6,000 apartments, with 358 at risk of disconnection for bills more than 60 days past due, totaling roughly $2.6 million in unpaid utility fees.
New Braunfels police seized more than $1 million worth of cocaine during a traffic stop. Happened on I-35 Friday afternoon. Officers say that they discovered 44 pounds of drugs hidden in a secret compartment in the floor of the vehicle. The driver and the passenger, both from Del Rio, taken into custody and later transferred to Homeland Security. Both now face drug possession charges. A San Antonio woman qualified for city-funded home repair and roofing programs, but now says that she regrets ever applying.
Norma Ramirez walked KSAT Investigates through her northeast side home, where a city-appointed contractor did extensive work back in 2023. Records show the project was closed despite issues with the repairs. City officials say they tried to correct the problems, but that Ramirez became belligerent. And well, she told a different story.
Every time they came and checked, it was a very brief assessment.
Now tonight on the Night Beat, we got a closer examination of the renovations and what 2 independent inspectors had to say about the work done on the home.
6:37 right now. Let's give you a look at some of your morning headlines this half hour. At the White House, President Trump announced a new effort to study the causes of autism linked to a common medication. That would be Tylenol. In a news conference, the president linked autism to the use of Tylenol during pregnancy and raised concerns about vaccine timing. However, some health experts, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, say there is no proven connection between Tylenol or vaccines and autism. They warned that the president's remarks could cause confusion for parents. The Trump administration says more research will be forthcoming. And the trial of the man accused of trying to kill President Trump outside his Florida golf course is moving forward for right now. Ryan Ruth, who is representing himself, rested his case yesterday, telling the judge that he would not testify. Ruth called 3 witnesses, including a firearms expert, as he tried to raise questions about the weapon found at the scene and whether he had an intent to kill. Prosecutors challenged those claims, though, pointed to evidence they say shows otherwise. All right, and more changes coming up for Spirit Airlines. The airline plans to furlough a third of its flight attendants as it looks to cut costs. That would amount to about 1,800 employees overall. Spirit is starting with voluntary furloughs. The budget airline is seeking to drastically cut back after filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy again last month. It plans to cut flying capacity by a quarter in its November schedule, and it's also looking to slash $100 million in annual spending on its pilots. Sarah?
Everybody chatting about a weak cool front moving through tomorrow. Not a huge difference in temperatures, but a big difference in humidity. And I have to mention, there is a small chance for big storms that could have an impact to your afternoon commute tomorrow. Details coming up.
Autopsies underway for 2 young children found in far west Bexar County. Up next, why investigators say that they still have questions about what happened to them. 6:42 right now. This morning, autopsies are underway for 2 young children found dead over the weekend in far west Bexar County. 6-year-old Savani Stevenson and 3-year-old Miyani Islar was discovered Saturday near Culebra and Gulm Road. Well, their mother had been arrested. However, investigators say that they still have questions about her account, specifically whether the children died after being left in a hot car. And Chef Javier Salazar noted that while the mother said that the children died in her car, deputies actually found the children inside the home.
The inconsistencies that I'm seeing in the story and in some of the evidence, we're just not prepared to say that that's exactly what happened.
Neighbors have already started leaving pink and blue balloons at the home with the children's names and ages to honor them. And we've learned that the oldest, Savani, a first grader at Reed Elementary School, which has counselors this morning available to support students dealing with this loss. Now to your morning consumer headlines. We got some great news for San Antonio travelers, where Air Canada will soon offer direct flights to Toronto. The first flight expected to depart San Antonio International Airport next year on May the 2nd. Air Canada will offer flights 3 times a week. Those days will be every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And this will be the airport's 10th international destination and the only one in Canada. This is not the first time Air Canada has operated in San Antonio, though. Back in 2019, the airline ended a similar nonstop service to SAT that lasted close to 2 years.
Consumer headlines now. It now costs a pretty penny to achieve the so-called American dream. According to Investopedia, the cost of 8 key pillars, things like retirement, home ownership, college for 2 kids, vacations, healthcare, even pets, now adds up to more than $5 million over a lifetime. The analysis shows most of the costs have risen faster than inflation in recent decades. Experts say the number may feel out of reach for most, but they say the real takeaway is figuring out your own version of the dream and what it takes to get there.
All right, we got the 12th annual Head for the Cure 5K right around the corner. The race raises awareness and funds for brain cancer research in honor of our late news director, Jim Boyle.
It's happening this Saturday, September 27th at 8 a.m. at Providence Catholic School. You can go to ksatcommunity.com to register for more details. And again, the weather sounds like it's going to be fantastic for that. All right, we asked, and you delivered. San Antonio's top businesses, from restaurants to dog groomers, plumbing, air conditioning services, you name it. They've all been named in SA Picks 2025. And a couple of examples. Best food franchise chain, the winner was Whataburger. Best ice cream / frozen yogurt was Dairy Queen.
Ooh, and get this, the best movie theater. You guys came in with a vote for Santikos. And the best car wash. I've been through this once and it was fantastic. It was the Wash Tub. And we received thousands of nominations across nearly 100 categories. And again, we have full list of those winners at KSAT.com. Just look for this article on our homepage. That will come in handy, especially if, again, you want the best of the best in San Antonio. And all of those winners are understandable.
Indeed, yeah, so many great winners here. And again, Sarah hinted earlier, maybe hold off on the car wash, which I know you'll talk about here in just a minute.
I will. I would say hold off until Thursday.
Very good. Okay, but you have been working that phone.
Yeah, guys, honestly, I just got off the phone with Alex right now. 3 different major incidents across our area right now. And, you know, we're talking about rain and traffic. It seems like when it rains, it pours, especially on our highways here as we get closer to our 7 o'clock hour. Take a look here. This is going to be 410 North right here, close to Bandera Road. So we do have an accident that it does involve, looks like a couple of vehicles right there. Now, hopefully everyone is okay. But right now we're looking at least 2 to 3 main lanes blocked. That's going to again be 410 northbound at Exchange Parkway. Let's take you to the maps and show you exactly what we're looking at here in terms of the backup. All the way back to past Culebra Road, now backing things up towards 151. You see this entire stretch. My guess is we're looking at about 20-minute delays right now for all of our drivers coming up 410. Think of some potential other routes here, Bandera Road, Culebra Road, Ingram Road, to help you kind of navigate through some of this activity. So we will continue to monitor that situation there. 410 North at Exchange Parkway and Bandera Road. Let's take you back downtown. Earlier we told you about this car fire. This is going to be 37 North, excuse me, right before you get to the Pearl. So of course 37 turns into 281. That's the interchange right there with 35. At least 2 main lanes blocked right now for all of our drivers that are trying to navigate their way around 37 and go northbound towards the Pearl. So we'll keep that in mind here. Further north right here, we're taking a look at this. This is going to be 281 right there at Spruce Wood. This is our camera right there at Sunset Road. At least a couple of main lanes blocked right now after a crash. Not too sure how much vehicles this involved, but we do have Alex Gomez there right now. So let's go ahead and check in with him and see how things are looking over by Bassi and Jones Maltzberger. Alex, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. It's going to be 1 vehicle involved right here. You can see the truck right there, 281 northbound. It's facing the wrong way. So just know that 281 North has that left lane blocked right at the exit to 410. So the exit to 410 remains open, but you are going to see some slowing 281 North from 410 all the way down to Jones Maltzberger. And the driver looks to be okay, though, RJ.
Okay, so that's good news there. But again, as Alex mentioned, Jones Maltzberger and Bassi Road. And I believe we have some more breaking news that we're tracking this morning. Let's send things back to Ernie and Jeff.
Yes, sir. This is just coming in here. The United States Secret Service has taken down a huge hidden telecom network in New York. Investigators say it could have taken out cell towers and jammed 911 calls. They found over 300 SIM servers and more than 100,000 SIM cards, all within 35 miles of the United Nations.
So this network could have blacked out cell service, especially during the UN General Assembly. And so far, no direct threat to the assembly has been found, but authorities suspect that what they call a nation-state actors officials say that this operation highlights new risks to the city's infrastructure.
All right, there's so much to talk about in the weather that I just kind of want to get you through your day really quickly. The big story today is the heat. We're going to be feeling like 102 this afternoon in San Antonio. For reference, our average high this time of year is in the upper 80s. So it is going to be a pretty hot day. Feeling like 101 in New Braunfels, 104 in Gonzales, 103 in Del Rio, Pleasanton, you'll feel like 103. Now, as we look at feel like temperatures across the nation, you can see that a good portion of the nation is going to be cool today. Even in Amarillo, it's only going to be feeling like it's in the 70s. That's because of that front. Now that front will be moving closer to San Antonio over the next several hours. In fact, we'll see that front move through tomorrow afternoon. That's the timing of that front. We've already got rain in areas in Kansas and in Oklahoma from this front. Today, that risk for rain will be up near the Dallas-Fort Worth area down towards San Angelo. When could we see rain in San Antonio? We have to wait until tomorrow afternoon. That's when the showers and storms will pop up. Notice, though, that they're going to be very streaky in nature. There will be those that get rain and there will be those that miss out, as is typically the case around San Antonio, the haves and the have-nots when it comes to storms. However, take a look at the time here, 6:30. There is the potential that during the afternoon and evening commute tomorrow, it could be interrupted by these storms. So plan ahead. Make sure you check before you head out tomorrow afternoon to see if there's any rain or storms on the radar. By Thursday morning, though, that rain will be racing to the south. So when we're looking at rain chances tomorrow, the first part of the day will be quiet, and then during the afternoon and early evening, that's when we could see some storms in San Antonio. It's a 60% chance, so some folks will still miss out on the rainfall. When we talk about rainfall potential, it's important to note that once again, as I mentioned, there will be those that miss out on the rain, maybe only getting a couple of tenths of an inch of rain to even less, and then there will be those that get perhaps up to an inch or more of rainfall. So when we put it all together, widespread, the vast majority of us will see less than half an inch of rain, but there could be some folks that see more than an inch, and that would result in some street flooding. If that happens right over downtown San Antonio, again, street flooding is possible, but that would be the exception rather than the rule. And any strong storms that develop could also produce some hail and perhaps even some gusty winds. So that's what we'll be watching for as your weather authority, and that's what we'll be keeping you posted about when it comes to storms tomorrow. Again, the exception rather than the rule. And then the benefit here is we are going to be looking at nice and crisp, cool mornings. Take a look at those morning lows. Friday morning, Saturday morning in the 60s. Afternoon highs are still going to be warm, near 90, but the thing is low humidity, guys, so feeling great.
Thank you so much. All right, 6:51 right now. President Donald Trump returns to the United Nations today with a strong message. He plans to take aim at globalist groups and talk up his foreign policy wins. We'll have live coverage right here on KSAT Plus.
6:55, we have 3 major incidents on our roads right now before we get you out the door at our 7 o'clock hour. 410 northbound right here at Exchange Parkway, Bandera Road, have a crash that involved a couple of vehicles there that has blocked at least 2 to 3 main lanes on the northbound lanes of 410. Downtown area, this is going to be 37 north headed towards the Pearl. We have at least a couple of main lanes blocked there on the northbound lanes of 35 right there in the downtown area. North of downtown, we're looking at another crash here that was one vehicle facing in the opposite direction. That's going to be 281 north right there at Sprucewood, at least one main lane closed at this time. We'll check in with Alex in just a little bit, get more details on GMSA Plus. Let's go to Sarah right now for a check of the forecast.
Oh yeah, it's going to be hot today, RJ. Dropping off the kids in the mid 70s right now and humid, but 97 for the high today, feeling like 102. As we look at your 7-day forecast, we expect some rain tomorrow with a front moving through, but the biggest impact to you from that front is going to be low humidity, cool mornings in the 60s, pleasant afternoons near 90, but again, feeling good with that lower humidity. Can't wait for that cool front.
Very good. Okay, some big overnight fires, including one deadly one, unfortunately, that we're going to have more on coming up in the next hour.
All right, you guys stick around. GMSA Plus continues after this short break.